Hello, welcome everybody. Lovely greeting from Miss Queen Bee, Kayla. I had to put that up here. I'm a few minutes behind because I'm already having the time bendy experience with this gone Puttee Kriya that I'm going to be sharing with all of you. I went into the studio, right? I have this scheduled to go live, and I went into the studio and I look and it says that I already recorded it, that it already went live. And I saw the end time and everything. So it's kind of trippy. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't gone live yet. So I exited and I came back in, and here I am. So we already got this interesting experience happening with time with this Gone Puttee Kriya. Good morning, Julie. Oh, and I have to say, I have to bring this in here, okay? Because I feel fantastic. I opened up the care package you sent me. Julie makes amazing self-care. What can I call them? Delicacies. They're just so delicious. I feel so amazing. I used this morning. Goddess Body Rituals is the name of Julie's uh, cottage industry. You're going to be starting in Etsy. Is that your goal with this 40 days we're doing? Um, this right here, body polishing souffle. OMG, I did this morning. It's like so yummy and creamy, and mm, the scent is divine. Yes. So when you get that info, let me know and I'll hook it up and get people your way. So now you got like a little straightening by fire, a little fire under your butt to go and get your Etsy up, because this was phenomenal. Okay. Really good quality, high quality ingredients in here. And I mean, I got so many yummy things. And as I try each thing, I'll just like let y'all know what I thought about it. But my skin just felt so nicely hydrated, but not too like greasy. Sometimes you can get that with some of these things. And it just felt perfect. I love that you put the shea butter in it, because I find shea butter just super nourishing for the skin, and just all the quality ingredients in there. It was just really fantastic. I did the spa shower this morning with, going in between the hot and the cold water. And I used this. I started with this on dry skin, because I do need to tend to my vata a little bit still. So I'm not doing dry brushing right now. So I used this, and it's just like, it was perfect, because it was sort of like that in between place, in between dry brushing and in between using like your standard salt scrub. So this was fantastic. So yeah, get your stuff up, because I'm sure that everything is going to be very yummy. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this Gone Puttee Kriya with all of you today. I want to talk to you about it a little bit. I am going to get some smoke cleansing going, because it just feels appropriate. And I'm going to use another thing that came in my care package. We got some sustainably harvested sage here. Okay. And I'm going to bring in a little tobacco too, just for my ancestors. I really did some work with my ancestors last night with full moon. I lifted some generational stuff. I did some journeying, had a lot of release work. And I just feel like it was so perfect. Like the timing with that care package is so perfect. And it's so in alignment with this Kriya, because this Kriya is all about timing. This Kriya will help you be in the right place at the right time. This Kriya will help make the impossible possible. This Kriya can take your most pressing concern, your most daunting obstacle, that thing that you're like, I have no idea. No idea. Oh my gosh. You've never used your scrub for dry scrub? Oh, do. It was perfect. It was phenomenal. It felt so good. Felt so good. So this Kriya, you can take any problem you're dealing with. Think of your most like complicated situation, your greatest conundrum. That thing, right? Everybody's been stuck at the crossroads, kind of going, you know, what's my next step? Everybody's like scratching their heads, that kind of thing, right? Where you just don't know what to do. You feel like there's some insurmountable thing you can't get around. Not with this Kriya. Not with this Kriya. This Kriya will absolutely make the impossible possible. It does require dedication. It does require some devotion. It is a practice. You can begin it with as little as 11 minutes a day. And yes, the timing is very important. So you'll start with 11 minutes and you can build up to 31 minutes. I recommend that your first round with this Kriya, unless you really just feel lit by it and you feel like, yeah, I want to go there. You know what I'm saying? That you kind of just set it at 11 minutes. I have worked with this Kriya multiple times. I have done it going for 11 minutes for 40 days straight. That's very traditional, working with mantras. This is a Kundalini Kriya. It is working on the branch of Ayurveda that is yoga, that is Tantra. In the West, people have a big misunderstanding about yoga. You know, they think it's about Lululemon outfits and who's got the best yoga booty and who's the most bendy, but that's not what it's about at all. And it's not just asanas. Asana is just one branch of the tree of yoga. There's a lot more when we're looking at yoga and its practice. Pranayama, breath work, is also part of yoga. It's a yoga. What does yoga mean? Yoga means to yoke with the divine, to come into union with the divine. And so these different methods, these different actions, these kriyas, which is what a kriya is an action. It's a devotional action that helps yoke you with the divine. So asanas is a route to go that way. If you're doing hatha yoga or kundalini yoga or vinyasa flow, power yoga, it's all a kriya. It's a kriya to bring you into alignment with that universal life force energy. You could look at it as ki. You could look at it as just the one great, energy reverberating throughout all of existence. You can view it as God, goddess. It's all the same trip. It don't matter what you call it. That's just the window in the grid that you look through, your reality tunnel that helps give like some kind of grounding to your day-to-day existence, but it's all the same trip. So this is a kriya. Tantra is another kriya, okay? And tantra is not just, in the West they have all these tantra workshops, and a lot of times, they really work the sexual angle, And yes, there is a way to work with the sexual energy, which is the Kundalini energy. It helps to activate the Kundalini energy in a very conscious way, but it's not just about sex. It's not even really about sex. It's working with that creative force of that masculine and the feminine, the Shiva, the Shakti coming together, the Ida, the Pingala, to raise the Kundalini, the sleeping serpent that gives knowledge, that activates the consciousness. If you want to explore a little bit about that whole concept, I did a read on that a while back, called Lilith and Eve Walk into a Bar. I'll put the link here. Just kind of look at things a little differently, get a different perspective on that story, and how it relates to the energy centers in our body and the pursuit of awareness, higher consciousness, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. Um, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So, Tantra is breath work, it's pranayama. Tantra is mudras. Tantra is all kinds of meditation practices. And, so just, just, you know, um, just one way of viewing it is to really miss the boat in terms of grasping Tantra and its depths. Tantra is yoga, it's not just Kriya, Kriya. Hmm. Hmm. With that, this shaking that you're describing, I call it like a soul rattle. Sometimes when you're releasing trauma from the tissues, this is a very common experience that people will have where they get like this shaking going on. That shaking energy is the Shakti. It's the Shakti. And it's like the release of the creative life force energy that's been like held up, pent up, blocked. Okay. This is going to block this is going to unblock all of that. This Kriya is a total road opener. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, and that's also can be related to the Kundalini as well, because what is Kundalini? Kundalini is the creative life force energy, right? It is the creative life force energy. And that's why when we die, we have the Kundalini raised and released, because obviously the creative life force energy just has to go on, right? It has to continue on. Way to kind of like look at it. So we're going to be working with this today, and we're going to be going through it with just like some directive on how to go about it, and familiarize you with it, help you understand the meaning of all the Biha seed sounds that we're going to be bringing in, because those Bija seed sounds are very much the keys that unlock the creative force and directs it in a certain way. It's very much an invocation, and at the same time a manifestation in one. Okay, so it's very potent. All the wisdom of the Vedas is contained within each of those individual seed sounds. So I'm not only going to teach you the mantra and teach you the Kriya, the action, which is through the mudras. And there is an exercise that you do at the very end of working with it, where you go into this shaking that you're describing, where you're going through this kind of body shaking. Only you will be doing it. And it's to circulate the prana all throughout every area of your body to get that creative life force energy moving throughout every area of your body. And you can call it a Shakti shake. Okay. It's just a way of kind of like waking up that energy and rattling it loose, just like you can get a rattle and you can shake it and it like breaks up, energy in an auric field, which if you ever feel like you got some heavy energy around you, just get a rattle, shake it around you. It's amazing the way a rattle can break up energy. What is going on with you, Ted? Ted is talking over here. Ted has a lot to say about this today. So it's the same thing, only you're activating it from within. You're getting your Shakti moving, all right? So this particular Kriya is really going to get the energy moving, get it flowing. And it is a Kriya that is part of the Tantric path, okay? And I think it's just so perfect that we're going to bring this in, right? Because we already had Tantra come in for us. Tantra came in for us last week. So this is kind of how we move through this experience when we're doing panchakarma work. One week leads to the next. It's like there's stuff that comes in that guides us on our journey. So do you understand the way it's sort of like a template for what we're trying to activate right now? That place of not getting too structured, not too stuck, but moving more into that kind of Saturn and Pisces energy where we can find more of a flow, you know. And it's not that there's no avenue. We know there's an avenue. There's an avenue that leads us to our destination where we finally understand where's this energy carrying me. All I know is I feel this pull, and every time I head in this direction, it feels like a yes. And every time I head in this direction, I notice that I'm feeling lighter. And every time I head in this direction or I do this thing or I'm engaging with this person, I'm noticing that things are just lining up. Things are lining up. That's how you know you found the way. Then you're in the avenue. So it's not that there's no form to it. There is, because the masculine is providing that avenue through what? Through action, through the Kriya, okay? Through our Kriya, through our actions that we take in our life. And working with Kriya in this capacity is the way you can spiritually work with that same action, okay? So it becomes a template for what you will be carrying forward in your life. It puts you in harmony with that energy that allows you to actually find your avenue and the best way to move through it. So there's a lot of timing involved with this Kriya. You will have synchronicity pick up. You know, you're going to notice a lot starting to become very interesting. All right. I just want to prepare you for it because it is interesting. Interesting things start to happen with time when you work with this Kriya. It makes you realize how much time really is a belief construct. And I'll just let you discover that for yourself, because that's the magic of working with the mantras and working with the kriyas. Is every time that you call forward one of those Bihasit sounds, you're also unlocking the vaults of all that wisdom within you. And what other totem did we have that showed up in the beginning of this journey? We had whale, and whale's all about those Akashic records. Okay, so this really helps you tap into that place of timelessness. And it's this place where you're at that liminal space, all right, where you know how to straddle the divide. You can have a foot in both worlds simultaneously. It's like Merc riding, okay? It's like Merc riding. You don't know what Merc riding's about, or hedge riding. You know, look it up. I welcome you to like look it up. I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole because that's something that I could really get lost in, and I do want to focus on the Kriya today. But you know, we already brought this in, so you might want to also work with having maybe 639 hertz. That frequency playing while you work with this Kriya would be a really supportive practice, okay? Just to anchor it in. Remember all those hand mudras? I feel like we're being given a ritual. I have to tell you, I do. I feel like we are being given a Kriya, like it's starting to develop as we move through this, which is just so amazing to me. So let's just review that, okay? Because I had these set aside for a reason. I knew that I would be revisiting these. Let me just send a little of this amazing sage your way, okay? Beautiful sage. It smells so divine, okay? Just drink in the essence and the spirit of that. Wise plant ally. There's a little tobacco in there too, just honoring the ancestors. Send a little of that hawk medicine your way. Clarity. Help awaken your vision. You focus. Help you enter that meditative mind. It smells incredible. Oh, it smells so good. It's like sweet. And look at this. Isn't this beautiful? My friend, my dear sister, Danielle made me this, and it's for traditionally for burning copal, and I have burned some copal in it, but I'm really enjoying using it for just burning all these sacred herbs, all of these sacred herbs. I'm gonna just put on a little, I'm gonna put on some yarrow on here. That sage is like some of the sweetest sage I've smelled. Beautiful. a little yarrow. Yarrow is really calling. Yarrow has a lot to do with the past, and I feel like a lot of the work that everybody is doing right now is sort of tying up the past, right? Bringing ourselves more into the present. So we had a whole sequence that was revealed to us. It's beautiful. I love the wisdom of it, the way it comes through, right? With the Pathfinder, the avenue, the way that masculine energy that provides the avenue for the creative force to come through. So we had the wolf come through, Pathfinder came through for us last time, Beta of Spirit Wolf. And yes, Wolf is, I love it. Wolf is showing us the way to bring about our manifestations through teaching us a Kriya. We're being guided to create this Kriya. And it came in initially in our first week with who? Our beloved Kali Ma, right? Only she was upside down. So we were guided to do this a little differently than it is done traditionally. So our first, position is with the left hand up to receive and placing the right hand right on Ajna, not Ajna, I'm sorry, Vishuddha, the throat chakra. I'm like already focused on like the third eye. I've been hanging out up there quite a bit over the past few days, especially leading up to that full moon. I'm still feeling that full moon energy. Okay, so this was our first posture. And that very much symbolized, the feminine, the receiving, the masculine covering, offering this protection. Actually, we should start here, right? It started with that, the left hand on the heart, the right hand covering to represent the masculine energy, invoking the protective, the sheltering, the providing, the avenue energy for the feminine, just to feel that sense of balance and holding how beautiful it is when the two energies are aligned with each other, right? And then we went into this. The masculine, sheltering, protecting, holding space, for the purpose of that creative force that wants to come through, right? In the feminine. Okay. And then we came here with both the masculine, the feminine, held at that throat chakra at Vishuddha. Okay. And then we went from there to them. Hey, we can take turns. We each can move. These are interplaying energies. And isn't this interesting? It's like, I'm getting this right now. It's reminding me of the spiral of DNA. It's reminding me of the spiral of DNA. And it's making me think of that DNA and generational healing and the ancestry. And the ancestors are coming in this week. So it's reminding me this. I don't know. I like this motion. You should check that out, just feel that. That feels good. I don't know. That might be something beautiful we can add. I feel like it's being downloaded right now. So, it's like they swap sides, right? They cross and they come here. They come here like an ace of cups at the heart. And you could even do, if you felt moved to doing that, you could create some movement with it, right? Like the drawing down into the cup that fills your heart, the drawing down of that energy, and also remembering that energy is also linked to the past. It's linked to the medicine of our ancestors. I love the beautiful symbolism of that. Or you can just keep it here. I think I might take it next level, because that's a pretty cool connecting point. I like the symbolism of that. And then from there, we, talked about doing the whole, getting in touch with the body, drinking in some kind of pleasure, something along these lines, which brings me to an important point. For the sake of this practice, this Kriya, let's kind of incorporate this. This would be the perfect opportunity, after you do this, to do your cleansing, because it's very important when you engage in a Kriya that you cleanse yourself, that you purify yourself. Because remember, that axiom came in the beginning, cleanliness is next to godliness. And it's very true. It's an invoking of the energy. And that is very much reflective of your manifestations. It's all about the quality of your energy in order to really be able to be a clear conduit for those higher visions to manifest. You have to do the physical cleansing as well. Well, we've been doing that internally, but it's very important and very traditional and roots Ayurveda that when you go to practice a Kriya, you must cleanse. At the very least, at the bare minimum, you should clean out the mouth and you should have your hands washed and put some water on your face, okay? At the bare minimum. If you can take a bath or a shower first, or if you can do like I did this morning and you can bring in some kind of like lovely salt scrub or something along those lines, even better. Okay. Oh, yes, true. I love this point. Yes, the weaving, right? The weaving, it does. It crosses the midline of the body. It does integrate the hemispheres. It's like a drawing down energy too. I like it. It's like a connecting point. And the DNA is such a connecting point as well. You know, it's a thread of connection. Hmm. I love playing with all of you. I love how this comes in. It's just so cool. So then you take your bath, okay? Oh, okay. That's okay, Kayla. You know, it'll come online when it's meant to come online, and you know the replay is always here, and you can jump on in at any time, right? Um, yeah, I love that piece. That piece. Let's just see here. No. I meant to do that. Okay, so after you do your cleansing, okay, after you do your cleansing, then you would want to maybe begin with this Kriya. I feel like what I'm getting, what the download I'm getting in right now is that we should then do the Puttee Kriya as it's done traditionally, no alteration. You got to keep it roots, but then we can finish with this offering it up as a devotional, you know, at the end. So I love that. And that just shows like the giving and receiving. I love how it connects those dots because people don't often think about that. You know, we need to feed the gods. We need to feed spirit too. You know, a lot of times people just ask, you know, ask for things from spirit, and they pray for certain things and they do ritual for certain things, and that's wonderful, but it's also important to like feed spirit as well with these acts of devotion. Or some people like to, you know, give offerings, food offerings or other things, or make beautiful altars, you know. um, they're all ways of showing gratitude, right? And we talked about that in the very beginning about this is so necessary in order for us to really move into that empress energy, that emperor energy, that place of fullness and abundance, and being able to really activate our visions and move into the quality of life we all want to be living. There's a need for us to be more grateful, you know, and not just have so much kind of entitlement. It's an important thing that we need to address in our world, and it would make the world a lot better of a place to be in as well. So this piece very front and center. So when you give back in that way, it's like an offering. So you can kind of look at a Kriya like that. It's like an offering to the divine. It's like I'm doing this action, you know, in gratitude for the blessings that I know are going to come, and the way you support me, the way all of life supports me. It's a totally different mindset. It's really beautiful, Ashley. Okay, so I love how these pieces came in from last week. I knew I kept them up here for a reason. Still getting out a little bit of my congestion. A little bit of my congestion. So, but it's mostly all gone. And I think some of that is just from, you know, last little bit of energetic holding around throat chakra, which seems to have been a kind of a collective issue. I love it. Yes. So let's bring that in, feeding the ancestors as well. Feeding the ancestors as well. You know, as above, so below. Don't forget your roots. Don't forget to water your roots. You know, don't forget who forged the road that you're on right now. You know, connecting with your lineage, connecting with your bloodline, connecting with your roots, your ancestors, singing songs to your ancestors, learning their songs, offering them their songs, offering them their dances, you know, offering them, you know, rituals that are based on their practices, their symbolisms, their archetypes. It's really potent. It's powerful. It awakens something in you. And this is a very simple thing you can do to connect with your ancestors. You know, you can sit with them in the morning. You can pour them a cup of coffee the way they would like it. And you pour yourself a cup of coffee and you sit, you talk, you connect, you know, you drop in. So it's a really beautiful practice. And thank you so much for bringing that in, Broad. Appreciate you. So we begin first with this Kriya, with a tantric invocation, which is in the form of a mantra. And we always work with this mantra before working with any kind of Kundalini Kriyas practices, okay? And I'll teach it to you. It's very simple. Okay, it's Om. Okay, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Okay, and when you say Om, it's not Om like home. You hear people say Om, home all the time. That's actually not the correct pronunciation. And I have to bring this forward because a lot of times you'll hear people say, well, it doesn't matter. It's just the intention that counts. Not so. Not so when it comes to mantra and the Biha seed sounds. And the reason is yoga is a science. It's a science. Ayurveda is a science. It is the science of life. That's what Ayurveda means. It means science of life. So every single sound is significant because the way that biha seed sound is pronounced, it affects what points your tongue will hit on your palate, and those activate certain meridians, certain marma points. You know, it opens up certain energy centers. All right, and it has an effect. So it does matter. And Om compared to the correct pronunciation, which is Om. Om. So you go first into the O sound, to the Ah sound, to the Om. Om. And you'll notice when you do that, the tip of your tongue will go up on the roof of your mouth. Okay. And it's significant. This is why you'll often be told when you meditate to gently rest the tip of your tongue, you know, up behind the teeth, in that little ridge behind the teeth on the roof of your mouth. It's because it activates an energy center. It stimulates the pineal gland. Okay. So it has a value. It has an importance. So the pronunciation is important. So it's and that's because when we're first born and we're first learning how to speak, there's three fundamental sounds that we can make. We can do this like ooh or oh, you know, we can do this ooh sound, and we can do an ah sound, and we can do mm. And that's why often a baby will first say mama, okay? Because we already have the capacity to make those sounds, those initial Bija C sounds when we're born. All right. So it's the blending of the three seed sounds. The blending of the three seed sounds, mind, body, spirit. You see how that kind of trinity energy is always weaving throughout. It's always weaving throughout all these traditions. Mind, body, spirit, the trinity energy. those three initial seed sounds. They are, what do we know? What do we know about words? They speak things into existence. These are the three seeds of speaking things into existence. They are the base of creation. Okay, that's what Om is. It's all of it. It's the totality of it. It's what you need to see creation. So it goes deep and it's beautiful. And the more you work with the mantras, the more that you download around them, the more kind of unlocks inside of you. Okay. So the first is Om, Namo, Guru, Dev, Namo. And you do it 3 times, okay? But first you begin with 3 yogic breaths. So for those 3 yogic breaths, you want to just begin. Let's go ahead. Let's do the breath work together. Let's just kind of go through it together, and then we'll do the mantra together 3 times just to invoke the energy. So you can practice alongside of me. Okay, so you first want to just make sure that you're sitting in a nice, comfortable posture, something where you can, yes, it does. It hits very differently. Absolutely. Something where, you can either be in like easy pose, which is just like a very simple cross-legged pose, comfortable, sort of find that place of center with your root by, I like to kind of like rock my pelvis front and back a few times until I find like that center point. And then when you get that center point, you can kind of do a mula bandha. Okay, so that's when you draw up like as if you were peeing and you had to stop the flow. Women already know how to do this. It's basically a Kegel. Okay, and really just drawing up that energy and holding it. That gives you kind of like a nice root lock. Okay. So you can be in easy pose, sitting cross-legged, or you can be sitting in a chair like I am with your feet flat on the floor. You want to be in a very grounded position. And then you want to kind of just like find your center. Again, we usually find center by moving between 2 polarities. So you can kind of like just rock your body back and forth, rock that torso back and forth until you kind of come into center. And then you want to, do just a very slight kind of lock on the cervical spine by, just bringing the chin ever so like down, not down like this, just down just a little bit. So you're in a very like straight spine all the way up. Okay. And for this particular portion, you don't have to go to this place, but when we actually go into the Kriya, the Puttee Kriya, your eyes will be about, you can actually start with this if you want, just to get a feel for it, almost all the way closed. You just want like just a little bit like, okay, and you can even kind of like focus the gaze of your eyes down at the tip of your nose. That can help with keeping your eyes like this. So just slightly down turned head. Okay. You want your palms up, hands resting, nice on your legs, just relax like in a receiving posture. And if you want with this, I prefer, in this initial invocation, I mean, we've already got these other kind of hand postures we brought in before we do this. So you're already prepared for all of that. But for this portion, it can be nice to kind of begin in this sort of like reverent place where you bring your palms together in prayer in front of that heart center on a hatha, little reverence space you're holding. You can even cross your thumbs. You can do, let's switch it. Yes, the avenue. Let's switch it, okay? Go ahead and let that right thumb cover the left, okay? And you just get in this nice position, and then let's do a few yogic breaths. So I'll guide you through the yogic breathing just so you can really get a feel for it. there's 3 parts to it. So take a nice deep inhalation all the way down to your root. And as you do, allow your lower belly to expand. And then just let it all out, exhaling, allowing the lower belly to recede, just like the waves of the ocean. Let that prana completely leave the body. And then again, inhale, bring it all the way down to the lower belly. And now you want to bring the prana, the breath up to the solar plexus, right at the place where your rib cage meets on your front body, and experience a little expansion of your rib cage out to the side. And then again, let it go. Exhale first, allowing it to release from the ribs, then down through the belly, and then up and out through the nose. Only nose breathing, okay? Only nose breathing, no mouth breathing. And again, one more time, breathe in. Carry the breath all the way down to the lower belly. Let the lower belly rise. Carry the wave of prana up to the solar plexus. Allow it to spread the rib cage out to the side, up higher to the heart center. Feel your collarbones have more openness. Just spreading open, and follow it down. Allow it to recede from the heart down through the solar plexus, the ribs, down through the lower belly, and out. Okay, so you would begin with that 3-part yogic breath to begin. And then you would go into the mantra. So I'll go ahead and do it, and you can do it along with me if you like, or you can just listen and just hold the space for it, and you can work with it later. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And just give a little bow. Sometimes I like to kind of do like a sort of a lotus flower, type symbolism. You can do that by, keeping your thumbs from that prayer position, okay? Spread them open like a butterfly. Touch your pinkies. I like to just kind of raise it up to Sahasrara, the crown chakra, just in gratitude. Okay, now we'll go into the Kriya. So, when we're working with a Kriya, we only do the mudras with the right hand, never with the left. There's a reason for that. The Kriya is the action, it's the masculine. It provides the avenue for the creative force to come through. So you have to look at a Kriya is actually calling forth the avenue. So your left palm, will remain up, resting gently on your legs on the left side, okay? And you'll have your right palm up resting on your leg facing upward, but the actions, when I'm going to show you, you will only be doing with your right hand, not with your left. The left just remains open, receiving, ready to receive the energy that needs to come in, that can work through that avenue. Okay. It's like you have the whole world in your hands. You do. You have the whole world in your hands. Okay. So there are all the seed sounds, all the bija seed sounds are included in this Kriya. All right. So the first one is saw, saw. And you begin with the right hand only. I'm going to show you with my hand up because it's going to be too complicated to do it anyway, okay? So when you say saw, you touch your index finger, or I'm sorry, yeah, your index finger, your pointer finger, okay, to your thumb. Saw, okay? And saw means infinity, universal life force energy. So I want you to understand what is contained in that seed sound. Sa is infinity. It's the universal life force energy. When you invoke that mantra, you are now holding that in your hand. Okay. Ta. Okay. So now you touch your middle finger to the thumb. Ta is birth, the birth of creation. Okay. We got to honor all the cycles of life, though. So then we go to na, where you touch the finger. What do we call this finger? This is the ring finger. Ta. Okay. Ta. I mean, sa, ta, birth, na. Okay. The ring finger is na. That is death. This is the reminder of the impermanence of all things, that all things come to an end. But they come to an end only to be reborn. Pinky finger, okay? Pinky finger. Hard for me to do it holding it upwards. Then you touch the pinky finger, and that is Ma, rebirth. Ma, rebirth. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that funny? The first thing a baby says when it's born, ma, mama, those are usually the baby's first words. It's that reminder, the rebirth, right? So that's the first part, okay? Sa, ta, nam, ma. Sa, ta, nam, ma. Sa, ta, nam, ma. Sa, ta, nam, ma. Only you'd be doing it like this. Sa, ta, nam, ma, because it's resting on your lap, okay? The second part of it is, again, starting with your index finger, your pointer finger. Ramadasa. Ra, okay? Ra means sun energy. It's invoking the sun. Now you're holding that solar energy, the masculine, in your hand, okay? Ma, moon energy, lunar energy, feminine, okay? Da, earth energy, because you got to take what's above and you got to root it down below in the material reality for it to manifest. Sa, again, infinity, all right? That's the third part, okay? So let's combine these two. Sa, ta, nam, ma. Ram, ma, da, sa. 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 Those are two parts. Now there's a third part, okay? Sa, say, so, hung. Sa, say, so, hung. Sa, again, infinity, universal life force energy. Say, I speak things into existence. I say it. I speak things into existence. So, and it is so. I speak things into existence, and it is so. Hung, manifest. Okay? So, sa, say, so, hung. Sa, say, so, hung. Sa, say, so, hung. Now we marry the three together, and that is the whole Kriya. All right? So it would be Satanama Rama Dasa Sa Se So Hung. Satanama Rama Dasa Sa Se So Hung. It's Hung, hung. Okay? Satanama Rama Dasa Sa Se So Hung. All right? We're held like this. Satanama Ramadasa Sase Soham. Now, if you like, you can go off. I love to do Kriya. I love to sing. I love to sing the mantra. But there are also 3 different parts to it too. So when you first do the mantra, you go for 2 minutes saying it out loud. Satanama Ramadasa Sase Soham. Then you do it for 2 minutes whispering. So, Satanama Ramadasa Sase Soham. And then you do it for 2 more minutes silent internally. Okay? And then you repeat, doing it out loud, doing it in a whisper, doing it internally. Okay? Your last round with the internally, can be, just like, it won't be quite 2 minutes. It'll be more 1 minute, really just like holding the energy. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's just do it together. Not all of those parts, but let's go through 3 rounds of each, doing it out loud, then doing it in a whisper, and then doing it internally, just so you can get a feel of it. Okay. So again, remember, just sit in that nice, easy posture. Back of the palms, back of the hands resting on your thighs, palms facing upward, nice and soft, soft hands. Remember, you're going to keep that left palm just in that very soft, receptive position. You're doing all the action of the mudras, which is what those different hand postures are. They're mudras. You're going to do all of that with the right hand. Okay. Remember to do your mula bandha, just kind of like pull up from the root and just kind of hold it in that, right at the navel is where you'll really feel it connect. You want to kind of pull that navel in right at your belly button towards your spine. Okay, so that's that mula bandha. And then you want to just gentle, kind of real gentle, not stiff, gentle lock on the cervical spine by kind of just bringing the chin in and a little down. Okay. Eyes mostly closed, just open a little, and let's go ahead and do the Kriya. Satanama Ramadasa Sase Soham. 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 And then what you want to do is you want to take a nice deep breath in. You're going to hold your breath for 20 to 30 seconds, and you're going to shake every single part of your body. So inhale. Ted's over here shaking with me. Inhale again. Same thing. Shake, shake, shake. 20 to 30 seconds. Let it all out. And one more time. Hold it. Shake. Get that Shakti shake going. Then you let it all out, and then our final posture, right? Our final posture that we were given, okay? How do you feel? How do you feel, those who did anybody do it along with me? How did you feel if you did? That's the practice. You can start with 11 minutes. You can work your way up. I highly recommend you just keep it to 11 minutes when you're first starting, okay? Don't be overly ambitious. This is a Kriya to unlock the Siddhi, okay? Siddhi is the power. It's what you manifest from working the Kriya, all right? Because we know there's a seed of creation. And what this particular power is, the Siddhi of this Kriya, is that it's a road opener. I have worked with this. I have worked with it many, many times. I have worked with this with people that I have journeyed through personal panchakarma with over a period of, 40 days together. And it's amazing what it does. It's amazing what it shifts. So if you have some big obstacle, some excuse you're using that is the reason why you can't move forward in life, whether it's a job that you feel like you need to, pull yourself out of, and you don't know which direction you should head in, or whether it's a relationship, or some false belief you have about yourself that's really affecting your confidence and is kind of holding you back in life. This can really break through what is inhibiting your forward motion, and not only break through, to the other side of that, but with that avenue now, wide open, your manifestations just come through so clearly, and you'll find synchronicity lines up for you, because that's what this works with. It works with time. It helps you be in the right place at the right time. So your road opens, and it opens in such a way that it reroutes you to be in the right place at the right time, to just be right at the opportune moment for a lucky break. Okay. So like everything that you need, the people you need to connect with, the resources you need to be made available to you, all of these things line up for you. But here's the thing. It won't happen if you just do it once. You'll start to see stuff, shifting. Okay. You're going to start noticing things coming up in you too, because Kriyas are also a certain kind of purification. So as you're working a Kriya over time, you'll find certain ways that you are holding yourself back. Hello, Krista. Wonderful to see you. I can't wait to drop in with you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow evening, we'll have a little broad time. So this piece, it's like you'll do your own purification around that, okay? Because that's why we work with Kriyas. We are also looking at personal development, right? We're looking to grow. We're looking to expand beyond our previous limitations, okay? So as you work with this stuff, as you work with this Kriya, you're going to find, your stuff that you need to heal is going to come up. All right. It's a purification all its own. A Kriya is a bit of straightening by fire. And it's perfect because we're calling our fire forward. We're calling our fire forward with all this work that we're doing around Agni this week, around the digestive fire, around that internal fire that gives us the will to move into action and actually bring our manifestations into being through our efforts, through our investment, okay, of our time and our energy. So do anticipate that. But to see the full result of it, you have to do this one for 40 days. Every Kriya, every mantra practice has a certain time allotted to it for its practice to really truly unlock the power of the mantra. So in order to get that benefit, to have the road open, to find that you got your synchronicity lined up, you'll have perfect timing, timing on your side. And what you thought was impossible, what you thought you couldn't pull off, you absolutely will. It will also help you really understand, just as somebody who's worked with this one, I've worked with it many, many times. You are really going to see how malleable reality is. And you're going to start realizing how much you do have an effect on your reality and how much you can shift it just with your mere thoughts, with your mere words, the way you use your words. You'll see. I like this one too, because it really awakens in people that sense of accountability for how you're moving through life, the thoughts you're holding, the words you're speaking. Thoughts are things and they carry the weight of responsibility. Thoughts are things. They carry the weight of responsibility. This is why we do this work constantly, like purifying the consciousness. Priestess makes all things sound. That path is endless purification. It's all the same trip. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So you need to be a clear conduit. So this is, it's a very, very like straightening by fire practice because it requires discipline to show up every day. That's why I say start with 11 minutes if you feel called to this practice. And Amanda asked to have this brought in. It is in the Kapha Reset course. I bring in stuff. I don't think I brought in this though. I don't think this is in the Kapha Reset course, but it's a really potent practice and it absolutely has an effect. So yes, you can review this, come back to it. It's pretty straightforward, simple practice, Sata Nama, Rama Dasa, Sase Soham. Okay. And you'll get to the point where you're like, broo, broo. Chef's kiss. So it's really a wonderful thing. I feel really called to, I want to pull one card, just one. I want to pull a card from the White Light Oracle and see what we got coming in there. I just feel like I want to get us a card in relation to this. So now would be a good time if any of you have like any questions or something's coming up for you around what we're working with this week in the course, or even if it's not related to the course, if you have a question about the Kriya or anything that you want to bring in your experience, all welcome here. Now would be a good time. I gotta do some cleansing. I gotta get this whole area like shifted here. I'm really feeling called to get up my spring altar and set the intention. Let's get out these guys here. It's interesting. I thought I was going to be up all night because I usually am with a full moon, but it was like after I did my ritual work last night, my journeying work, I just like felt so relaxed and so peaceful. I felt this really soft, silky energy come in. It's really beautiful. It was very much that like Venus energy came in. And I actually got to bed early for me, shortly after full moon, I just kind of went and, chilled out and Found myself getting a really nice, beautiful, restful sleep. It was lovely. I'm going to integrate you for right now. So let's see what Spirit wants to let us know for today as we move forward into our day and until we meet again. What's a little seed? What's a seed that we can hold? A little ace of pentacles that we can hold in our consciousness, that can help inform our next steps. We need to know, Spirit. Pathfinder, come on through. Give us some guidance. What's a seed we can hold in our consciousness today until we meet again? What is a seed that informs our next steps? Okay. Ooh. Wow. That's powerful. We have sacred scar. Sacred scar, and it's all in Anahata there, the heart chakra. I'm drawing into the breasts, and that really makes me think of nurturing, this need for nurturing the places where we feel wounded. So often we don't nurture those places, right? The sound went out. Oh no. For how long? At what point? At what point did it go out? Sata nama rama dasa sase soham. In case you need to know the whole thing. Sata nama rama dasa sase soham. Oh, I'm good. Okay. I want to make sure. I'm like, oh no, did we do all that and the sound went out? Not good. Okay, so anyway, so this makes me think about these wounds that we have, these soul wounds, these soul scars, these tender places inside, these traumas, these places that we often avoid, right? We often don't give them nurturing. And when we do look at them, it's more like in a way that we're almost like picking at the scar, right? We're almost picking at it instead of really holding like this loving space around it. And remember, our actions are related to the masculine. So it's that feeling again of like the masculine, providing this like sheltering, this protection for the feminine. And we can do that through Kriyas and how we even interact with our bodies in terms of like self-care. Okay. So this piece is coming in about this need to recognize that what happens, that bridge between the will and actually speaking something into existence. The will is the fire, right? The will is that it's the energy to take the action to bring our dreams into being, to go for a goal, to create something. Okay. The will is the avenue, right? It provides the avenue. Wonderful. Yeah, you know what? I agree. Like, you know what? It's like, I feel like it's been a whole process of creation. It's been like the avenue opened, and I'm so seeing like, I love that you're having this moment. My broad here, Wilder, who was on, I had Wilder on the broadcast, and they shared what do we call it? Embrace the cringe. Embrace the cringe. Wilder's working on a very soulful album, and please check it out. Okay, check out that broadcast. It's excellent. I'll try to put a link in for that too. It's just was such a good drop in, and I think people could benefit from it because it's kind of like what we're talking about right now, right? Why, right, Wilder? You know, we're talking about this like using some different kind of using a different kind of focus and dropping in with our wounds, recognizing how they can be a nourishment. And in this case, it's almost like that the wound is where the light gets through, that you can use that material, the stuff of your soul, you know, that may feel heavy, may feel like it's painful to look at. And you can work with the creative force through your will, through taking action to provide this avenue for that energy to be freed up and to come out creatively and to experience a lot of emotional release, a lot of trauma release through giving creative expression. You know, I'm really seeing this. I'm looking at this here, and to me, it looks like a yoni, you know, like a birthing avenue, right? Okay. And yes, I agree with you on that, Wilder. Kind of went on a little tangent there, but I feel the same way. I love how it's coming through in the lives. It feels more co-creative, right? It feels like we're more co-creating it. And I'm really enjoying the energy of it too. Wilder has been through the courses with me. Wilder's taken every one of my courses that I put out for Ayurveda and has journeyed along with me every year. So I really appreciate you, Broad, so much. And Wilder is somebody who actually paid for the course and participated on that level. So thank you to Wilder to make it possible for me to be able to offer the courses for free, because those who did offer that support for me in getting this started, they are part of making it possible for you all to be able to receive all this for free. So gratitude to you, deep gratitude to you, Wilder. I love you. Thank you so much for the way you've supported the vision. So I'm seeing this anahata, heart chakra, you know, this portal here. It's reminding me of, it's like the bridge between the will and between the activation of the purpose, you know, and speaking something into existence with the Shuddha, the throat chakra, is here. The heart is the bridge. The heart is the bridge. And the heart is kapha. Okay. The heart is kapha. And that's where we connect with what we're wanting to bring into being, where, okay, I know the action I need to take. I'm ready to use my will to invest my energy in this direction. Now I'm marrying it with my feeling, you know, my emotion. Oh, you're moving into kapha, the soft, sweet, the soft sweetness. By the end of the process, we're always all crying, right? The tears get flowing when you build that kapha. It lands you in the sweetness of your heart. It's such a beautiful thing, you know. That isn't it beautiful though? That's the sweetness when we move into that place of creativity and connectivity and co-creation with each other, and we can always live from that place. I totally love you and honor you for your contribution as a co-creator. Okay. So there's this piece, right? If we're holding like pain, if we're holding old trauma, you know, in our heart center and anahata, we don't have what we need to really nurture those dreams we want to bring into fruition. And we need that. You can't have just like these seeds planted in the ground. What would happen if you planted your seeds in the ground and then you didn't give it any kind of nurturance? The rains never came, you never watered, you know, you wouldn't get the beauty of that vision breaking ground and coming into full bloom, right? I mean, we see this practically gardening, you know, you have to nurture, things to fruition. You know, there's a balance, and there's that balance in nature. The water comes and it waters the grounds, and from that all abundance grows. So there's this piece about, and what else helps the flowers grow? We know, and sometimes it takes a little bullshit to make the flowers grow too. So this is about the shit that you need to let go, that you can use as compost, okay, to help fuel your visions. And then you'll allow, once you get this stuff out of the way, out of your heart center, it allows the beautiful, watery, unctuous quality of kapha to come forward and just pour in the love and the devotion to what you're wanting to bring into being. Because remember, whatever vision you're working with through this cycle, it's got to mean something to you, man. If your heart's not in it, if it doesn't excite you, if it doesn't open up this energy center, you're not at your seed yet. Okay. You really want to connect this with a sense of passion and purpose. And passion is when you marry the will, okay, that action with feeling. And that's what aligns you here to Vishuddha, the throat chakra. It builds a bridge that leads to creation, because then when you activate this energy center, your throat chakra, you're activating, speaking it into existence. It is so, so hung. It is so, it is manifest in material reality. Okay. It's also the center of your purpose. You come into alignment with your purpose. So I'm getting that if you can, in any way, and however you can create that for yourself. And even though this looks much like, it looks like a vaginal womb, portal, right? But the masculine is within that. The masculine is still within that avenue that allows the birth of creation to come through. So men, please don't feel like with all this feminine symbolism coming in here that this isn't for you, because it absolutely is. I really encourage you in some way to bring nurturing, okay, to your heart center today in a physical way through action, okay, through the masculine, through a Kriya. I think it'll be very important. I feel like it will really root what came in today. It's also going to help you kind of clear out some pain. I think there's some emotional release that needs to happen here. When I think of scar tissue, I do think of gua sha. Gua sha is really good for releasing scar tissue and kind of loosening adhesions. It can be really, really wonderful where you feel like maybe you have some cords attached. So if energetically you feel like you got stuff corded into your heart and you're having a hard time like letting it go, there's just something that's just causes you a lot of pain and you can't seem to get it out of the heart center. And it's what blocks your heart. It's what keeps you in this contracted place, always like protecting your heart, closing yourself off. It can be wonderful to just warm up some oil and you can just rub it all over, the chest, rub it. You can even rub it into your breasts, moving everything towards the nipples. Yes, men, it applies to you too. Please get to know your breast tissue. We can all get breast cancer. So this is also very practical. It's about getting to know your body, what's normal for you, and sometimes people have kind of like fibrocystic, tissue in the breast. It's important to get to know your breasts so that you can tell when something's abnormal, like, oh, this doesn't belong here, much like this user right here, Tarot Destroyer, does not belong here. And you just got blocked. Okay, so I'm going to look at something more pleasant. I'm bringing it back to my view of my broad's comment there, okay? So you can do this. You can warm up some oil and you can put it, massage it into your chest, massage it in through your breasts, and just really work this area, get it nice and warmed up. You'll notice as you work the tissues with your hands, that everything's going to get real like soft and more supple. And where you have areas of congestion, you're going to notice this kind of like letting go. And then you might even find like, oh, I'm able to breathe more deeply. And that's important because that's the prana. It's a life force energy. Oh, now I can really like open up in my heart center. And it feels so beautiful to give some nurturing, some time here. And it does really help to release energy. But if you feel like I got energy that's corded into my heart center that's not mine, you can get a gua sha, okay? And a gua sha is just like a flat tool. Do I have a gua sha here that I can show you all? Well, I have this gua sha, but this is a totally different type of gua sha. Normally they're kind of, this is more for kind of like activating marma points, specific points and kind of doing more pointed work. But just imagine that this is flat. Okay. So they're usually kind of flat, sort of thin tools. I don't have one here. Otherwise I would show you, but I do have a gua sha video that's under the 40-day Panchakarma Own Your Fire that I did last year. Look at that playlist. You'll see it. It's like gua sha basics, I think I called it. And you'll see what a gua sha looks like there. And we go over everything. But a gua sha, it has this edge to it, and you use the edge to stimulate, to just kind of do this friction action. You always want to go out. If you're working on the chest, you want to go out towards the side. So you're opening up this center, right? You can do some under the armpits if you get a lot of congestion underneath your armpits on the side of your chest there. You can do some moving the energy from there in, okay, toward the nipples, because the nipples they're another detoxification portal. All right. So when you're working the breast tissue, you can go from the sternum, from the center of your chest out towards the nipples. And then you can even do this here. Always finish though without. Okay. Always finish without. Always finish without. So you could get in there and you could really work this. If you feel like you got a lot of cording in here, if you feel like you got a lot of hitchhiker in there, energy in there, if you feel like you have some kind of attachment, to something that really blocks your heart center, this can be very potent to work with. You can even bring it up through the chest here, okay? And just really open up this area. You'll know when you've done enough of it. You'll just be able to viscerally like feel it in your body when you've had enough of it. You'll also see you get like kind of the circulation really flowing. You'll notice the tissues get really pink and the tissues really warm up. Everything feels so soft and buttery and yummy. And it's just the most beautiful feeling. And if you decide to work with that, gua sha specifically, okay, it can bring up a lot of sensitivity. You will get emotional release. I just want you to be prepared for it. You will get emotional release. And if you're new to it, it can be kind of intense when working that area. Okay. Yes, I love that. I love working with ghee. Ghee is wonderful, and a ghee brings in a very nurturing energy. Okay, there we go. Gotta keep blocking this person. This tarot destroyer cat, they're like notorious on YouTube. They go around and they set up multiple accounts, and they come around and they drop in on things like this and they try to disrupt things. And all I can say is bless your heart, man. That's pretty sad to spend your time, your creative life force energy, tapping into something where people are trying to do something positive, and you're so limited in the way you're moving through your life that's how you're using your creative life force energy to set up multiple accounts to do this stuff. I wish you well. I hope you have some healing. I hope you get your energy correct and you learn to use your energy in a more empowering way in the world, because that's just very, very unfortunate. Ghee is excellent, so nourishing, so nurturing. But you do have to remember, if you've never worked with this stuff before, it is so essential to make sure that if you're going to go in there with gua sha, especially in this area, okay, in the heart center where there can already be a lot of sensitivity, please do it when you actually have a good space of time where you can really process what comes up. Don't do it right before you go off to work, okay? You might even want to do it when you don't have to work the next day. Just being real, because it brings up a lot of stuff, okay? And you might need to have a good cry, and especially once you get everything flowing here, the lymph flowing all through here, all the congestion broken up in here, you're really going to have a lot come forward. I also want to say that if you do that, you want to make sure after gua sha, you bring in the nurturing, So then maybe take a warm stone, and you can kind of like, just rub on the heart center, rub all your breast tissue, rub up through the chest. You could even work with, a nice rose quartz would be beautiful. Nice, it's very soft, silky energy. You could put a beautiful, smooth rose quartz, on your heart. You could get one of those. I'm sure you've seen them. They're the kind of larger heart-shaped crystals. You could get one of those rose quartz and you could warm it up a little bit and you could use that. It would be so perfect if you happen to have one of those handy, but it's not necessary. Okay. Any smooth stone or smooth crystal could work for that. And you don't have to do the rock at all. Okay. You could just simply just put a lovely oil on that's nice and warm. You could do some kind of soft, feminine, receptive kind of essential oil in there, something like rose is always beautiful. I always love rose. I also love ylang ylang. It's very much like connecting with that divine feminine energy. It's so beautiful. It's like this very, very sovereign, kind of feminine energy, ylang ylang. So it's devotional. So you could put just like a few drops of that in there. You could do a little sandalwood, something that it brings in a little bit of that warmth. You could do amber too. Amber is beautiful as well. What a blend that would be, right? I'm like, sandalwood, amber, ylang ylang, rose with little top note of neroli. Oh, that sounds divine. That sounds divine. That would be perfect for you. Yep, there they are back again, you see. And it's just such a waste of time for them. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep blocking them. All right. Oh, I have a beautiful flat adventuring heart that I use for gua sha. You are naming all my fave oils. Yeah, they're a beautiful combination to work with. Absolutely. So this is what I'm really getting for this sacred scar. I feel like there's this need to realize that there's something beautiful also that comes out of our scars, but we can only get to the beauty of what's there once we kind of release the emotions. And one of the best ways to release our emotional scars is through creativity. You don't get more creative than a yoni, right? Okay. Birthing life into being. Okay. So I'm really picking up on that symbolism here. So I feel like this is also about maybe looking at starting to express some of your scars, some of your emotional pain, some of your trauma through creative outlets can be very helpful. Making your own medicine song. You could go on a whole journey with that where you create a medicine song to express what you've been through. And you don't ever even have to share it with anybody if you don't want to. It can be just for you, just your own personal medicine. Okay. You can dance it out. You can create a medicine dance, and you can journey with it. You could do this. You could journey with this while doing the Gom Puttee Kriya, and it would be so powerful. Oh, Ted just shook his head. Yes, that would be a very, very powerful practice, actually. And I love the idea of that. So, and that can be anything. Creativity can come through many outlets. So open your mind, it can be as simple as like coloring mandalas, getting a coloring book and coloring it. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to feel like you need to have a certain skill set in order to be creative. Everybody is creative, you all have your own creativity. Some of you knit and some of you cook and, some of you make beautiful, self-care products, some of you are potters, you make pottery. Okay. there's many different ways to create. So it's about getting in touch with that. Making a vision board would be another way to express. You could make a vision board of your healing process and really honoring those scars and honoring what you've been through to get to the other side. Yes, okay. It took me a few days to get the mental capability to drink the warm ghee. I did it this morning to feel it coating my inside. Tomorrow's hopefully goes down better. Yeah, I know. It's not the funnest part. It's just not. And the best thing to do is just make sure that it's kind of like you want it warm but not too hot. So you can just like pour it in a shot glass and just like, ooh, chug it down. And you can follow it with like some warm chai, or some tea, or something, or if you have your morning coffee handy, do a little swig of your coffee, whatever. It's just getting it down at first can be a little unusual. I know. I did my first shot this morning myself, as I'm now at that place where I'm ready to get everything started with the 10-day ginger treatment. So I'm going to be real with you. I'll always be real with you. I'm not going to ever, bullshit you. It's just not my stuff. It's not going to get easier. Right. It's, it's not. It's just one of those necessary evils in this process, okay? Because each day you're going to drink more. And by the time you get to day 4, believe me, you're going to be looking at that glass and you're going to go, oh God, I can't believe I got to do this, right? I'm just being real with you. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I've done that too. I've done that as well. I've done the bulletproof coffee. I actually prefer it. I feel so much better. But don't do the ghee shot like that though. Don't do the ghee shot like that. Just I don't think you're doing that. I don't think you're doing the ghee in your coffee like that. But make sure you take the ghee separately. You let the ghee come in first. It comes in, it coats everything. So this is what I'm really getting. Find some kind of medicine. If you're going to do the Puttee Kriya, also, as you're releasing your obstacles within, because that's what it's going to do as well. Remember, it's going to highlight for you the things that are kind of like getting in the way, the things that are blocking your road. And we have to clear the road first within. Yeah, I mean, people have a hard time with it. They do. People have a hard time with it. And I love bringing in the real. We're going to be real about it. It's not the most fun. It's not my favorite part of it, but you got to think about this. We're getting through. We're getting through that part so we can get to the sweetness, to the reward of that ginger rasayana, right? Right? We got to do another thing too. We got to do the clearing on day 5. So we got some stuff to push through to get to the sweet reward of the ginger rasayana. It's the same thing with this creative process that we're in. I love that you liked it today. That's good. And Julie's just like, it's decadent. It's all about how you look at it. And also, if you're having a challenge with it, if you're like, oh gosh, this is gross, I don't want to drink ghee, just remind yourself of why you're doing it. It's going to clear so much out of the way. And once it clears out all this you clear out your lower channels, remind yourself, I'm doing this so that I can start to really assimilate my energy better, so I can assimilate the nutrients from my food so I can get strong. Hey, and let me tell you, if you are in any kind of weight release journey, this is essential, because if you're not absorbing the nutrients from your food, you're going to really have a hard time getting good metabolic function going. And a lot of people don't realize that when they're carrying a lot of extra weight around, that's often related to malnutrition. And people think that's BS because they're like, oh, no, that's nonsense. You're overeating, you're this, you're that. No, it's actually because yes, sometimes it's people are focusing on their regressive foods, right? They're eating foods that are not supportive of their vitality. But sometimes you can eat a really nutritious diet. You can be eating really healthy food. I know that I have had this experience in my own weight release journey. Okay. I've had that experience when I've been like, I don't get it. I'm eating really quality food. I'm only eating when I'm hungry. I'm not eating unreasonable amounts. I'm exercising. Why is this not moving? And for me, the key was the nutrition, and looking at the digestion and understanding, oh, I get it. I have malabsorption. I'm not properly assimilating the nutrients from my food. And when you're not properly assimilating the nutrients from your food, what happens? You start getting cravings because your body's going, I need energy. I got no energy. I'm working with nothing here. I don't know why. It's kind of funny. It just made me think of that movie Bubba Hotep, where JFK is talking to Elvis and he's saying, I'm thinking with sand here. It's like your belly is trying to digest with sand. It's got no juice. It's got no fire. And so it can't break down that nutrition. And so when you can't get the nutrients you need from your food, you have no fuel. And when you have no fuel, you have no energy. So of course your health plummets and your metabolism, it needs that. It needs the fuel to function properly. So what happens? People start getting cravings. Sugar. They want sugar. That's like the first thing people go to. They want the simple carbs, And it's because they're malnourished. And because they're malnourished, they're like craving things that will give them this instant energy. All right. So this digestion piece is really important. But I like how it's kind of like expressing the manifestation process too. It's all a template, right? It's all a template. So just think of the ghee in that way. And yes, the ghee provides that butyric acid that feeds the healthy flora. Do you know that your probiotics, okay, your probiotics need that butyric acid so desperately in order to colonize that they have learned biologically, they've become intelligent enough to be able to produce some of their own. But it's not enough for them to colonize when you've had all your healthy flora wiped out. And what will wipe out your healthy flora? Having a long period of time of malabsorption will do it. Yep, that'll do it. That'll throw off the whole ecological balance of your gut. Being on a round of antibiotics. If you've been on a round of antibiotics and you have not followed it up with like a 6-month course of probiotics, you need to give those probiotics some support. You need to give them some help getting colonized again because they can't do it on their own. You can eat all the cultured foods you want in that case. I want to bring this in for people that are really dealing with malabsorption issues, which you can tell by looking at your tongue. You see those teeth indentations on the side I got there? Which, by the way, that's from a history of eating disorder, okay? That's all from my time of when I was having my anorexia crisis when I was in my early 20s. I destroyed my digestive terrain. I'm 27 years in recovery. Okay, so I'm still repairing it. It used to be so severe though. So severe. I'm moving Amma today. That's that white coating, all right? I hope you're still looking at your tongue. Hope you're still getting to know your tongue. You may notice too that you go through periods as you're releasing Amma, as you have emotional release, you're gonna have Amma coming up. Your tongue will go white for a couple days while you're clearing that out. You just, scrape your tongue, keep it going, okay? But that's so important. If you've had a course of antibiotics, you need to do like a good 6-month course of probiotics. It will not be enough to just include cultured foods. It just won't. In that case, for those of you in that boat, or those of you who have a history of eating disorder, if you have a history of anorexia, if you have a history of bulimia, and I can speak to this. I'm an intuitive eating counselor. I'm listed on the national directory. You can go to intuitiveeating.org and I'm listed there. Okay, Shannon Elsom. And I've worked a lot with people who have these issues because I know it intimately. I've seen all of it. I've seen all sides of it, man. there's this piece about making sure that you include this in the ghee. It'll be so beneficial for you on so many levels. So you can kind of inoculate your system if you really have like totally destroyed your flora and you need to get the digestive ecology right again, get that colonization going on of those probiotics. You can get probiotics, okay? If you can only find them in a gel cap, that's fine, okay? If you find powdered ones that aren't encapsulated, that's actually better, especially in the case of malabsorption, because if you have malabsorption, if you have those indentations on the outside edges of your tongue and you're taking a bunch of supplements, you're not helping your digestion at all. You're making matters worse. Your digestion cannot break down gel caps. It cannot. You're wasting your money and you're actually making your digestion tank even further. So I would say that if you have a really severe case of malabsorption like that, you want to stop taking any kind of supplements that aren't like a tincture or powdered, something that can be, or food grade, like some type of smoothie, protein powder, something like that, where it can be easily assimilated and integrated. All right. But you can take a probiotic capsule, you can open up the gel cap, and you can pour the powder inside of that ghee shot because the butyric acid feeds the probiotics. And the ghee shot won't cook the probiotics because you want the ghee shot to be like tepid. Okay, you don't want it to be hot. Don't cook your probiotics, all right? Tepid, lukewarm, all right? So you can take that capsule, the probiotics, or a little powdered probiotic if you can find it. You can put it in your ghee shot, and you can do it like that, and it will just drive those probiotics into the gut and give them everything they need to really flourish and thrive. All right. So that leads me to believe, with that digestive segue to come in like that, that there's going to be a lot of work to do around digesting kind of like this old stuff that's stuck in the heart center. And a good way to work with that is creatively. I'm having the mindset that one day I will look forward to it. I'd love the taste. I did love the taste, and I'm using it for my daughter's food too. Excellent. I love that. And that's a beautiful way to incorporate it too, just kind of like incorporating it into your meal. So let's see what Alana Fairchild has to say about this sacred scar. I love that it's also number 11, so coming into alignment. So let's just have a look at what she has to say there, and then maybe we'll do the little healing visualization she has, and we'll get any questions and close things out here. Sacred scar. Your inner and outer scars are marks of your soul's courage. They are signs of strength and survival, of your willingness to be alive. The sacred scar speaks of that which once caused pain being transformed into higher knowledge and inner power. Trauma shall be transformed through spiritual initiation, leading you from woundedness to wisdom. You have nothing to be ashamed of. And we talked about that before, about releasing shame. Evening primrose oil is wonderful, but evening primrose oil will not feed your healthy flora. Only ghee does that. Only ghee is able to do that. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You can trust your healing process and in the hidden higher purpose behind things happening as they do. You are strong and you shall flourish on all levels. Yes, it's understanding the strength and the wisdom that comes from the wounds, just my vision caught that. I wanted to make sure that I addressed that right away when I saw that. Evening primrose oil is an anti-inflammatory oil. It's women specific. It's for reproductive health. It helps balance female hormones. But even men can take it. Oh, the capsules, same thing. If you got malabsorption, you need to like poke some holes. Nice, sterilize a needle, poke some holes in that gel cap. It's better if you can find it not encapsulated, but if that's the only way you can find your evening primrose oil, poke some holes in it. I thought you were talking about mixing it with the probiotics. Yeah, if you're taking evening primrose oil, any gel caps, any capsules, got malabsorption, you're not going to be able to break it down. You're basically flushing your money down the toilet. You won't hear that. You won't hear that in the the supplement industry, will you? They never tell you that. They never tell you that if you have malabsorption, you're wasting your money buying capsules and pills. You can't break it down. Yeah. It was like it was like mind blowing when I learned that. And it started saving me a lot of money. And haven't you ever had this experience where you're like, I don't get it. I've been taking this supplement forever. It's supposed to do this, and I'm not getting any results. Why? Because if you got malabsorption, if you got digestive impairment, you're not able to break it down and assimilate the nutrients from it. So digestion is the seat of health, and we always go there in Ayurveda. That's the first thing we address. Any imbalance in the body, mind, body, spirit, don't matter. It all comes back to the gut. It all comes back to your Agni. It all comes back to digestion. If the digestion ain't right, ain't nothing going to be right. Because in Ayurveda, the food is the medicine. The food is the medicine. And so if there's a problem, we go to the root. We don't go, the food is the problem. Especially if we've been eating very nutritiously, right? We're taking these supplements that we think are supposed to be beneficial for us. If we have solid digestion, we don't even need these supplements. But we're all kind of working at a disadvantage at this time. So we need to like get our digestion humming. We might need a little supplemental support, like some probiotics, like some evening primrose oil, which is wonderful. The best anti-inflammatory. It's an excellent EFA, wonderful for the nervous system. Yes, men, you can take it too, even though it's women specific, and it's very beneficial for women. And you can take it indefinitely. And as far as dosage on that, 3,000 milligrams daily. You can take it at that level indefinitely. No contraindications. It's very safe. That being said, anything I recommend, anything you want to explore, you always want to refer to your medical care provider. Okay. Talk to your doctor about it. Make sure it's right for you. But it's very safe. Very safe, no contraindications. But do just take a sterilized pin, poke, 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 then you can take it. Okay. Then you can take it. Eventually, that gel cap will disintegrate, but by the time it finally does, you're not going to get the medicine out of it if you have digestive impairment because you'll already poop it out. It'll still be all the goodness will still be in there, right? So it's going to be out of your system before you get a chance to really get the benefit of it. And that can cause all kinds of problems. I mean, we could go down such a rabbit hole with that. But thank you for bringing evening primrose oil in because it's wonderful. And I like that. It's almost like evening primrose oil wanted to come in around this heart. Evening primrose oil is wonderful for heart health on a physical level. It's hard not finding the primrose and glycerin. It's true. It is. I think I've only seen it once and it wasn't just pure evening primrose oil. It was like a blend. It was a blend of oils. And I mean, the blend is great. And I think it was by Udo's. I think. A blend is great, but the only problem with a blend is you can't get the concentration you need to really benefit from evening primrose oil and get the hormonal balancing and the glowing skin and the lustrous hair, all the beauty benefits. If you want to like increase the beauty factor, oh, evening primrose oil is wonderful. It's also excellent for thermogenesis. I just so love you brought this in because I wasn't even going to talk about evening primrose oil, but it has so much application. It's great for getting your metabolism functioning properly, okay? Evening primrose oil is excellent, but you can't really get the full benefit of it unless you're taking a good 3,000 milligrams a day. 3,000 milligrams a day. And the thing is, please give it time to work, okay? Because sometimes people are like, oh, well, I've been taking it for 2 weeks. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything, so forget it. No, any supplement that you're going to take in, make sure you take it for a good, take it for a good month. Take it for a good month. Give it a chance to build up in your system, because it's not like this like hardcore, intense like bomb to your system like pharmaceuticals are. All right. So it's a whole different thing. The process works more slowly. All right. So give it time to work its magic, but you'll be really impressed when you see what it does. And yes, it's excellent for heart health. And why? Because it's anti-inflammatory. It's one of the best anti-inflammatory EFAs that you can take. And that's significant because the root of all dis-ease in the body, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, okay? The root of all disease in the body is inflammation. So anything you can do to release the inflammation, the better off you're going to be. And we can, really go into that, talking about, Rajas quality foods, they're pro-inflammatory foods, but we'll save that. We'll save that because we already got things outlined, and that's more for Pitta season. But thank you for bringing that in. Because yes, we have to look at the physical body too, right? There's the physical body piece, mind, body, spirit. It's a whole comprehensive, holistic approach to bringing balance, this science of life. And it is excellent. Evening primrose oil is excellent for heart health. So if you got cardiovascular disease running in your family, that's something that's excellent preventive, working with evening primrose oil. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this healing process, all right? I want to bring this in for us just so we can kind of root what came through this whole wild ride we went on today, and carry that with us, carry it with us in our hearts as we move forward and until we meet again tomorrow. So I want you to begin with that initial mudra we've been given, that we've been working with the left hand symbolizing the feminine, resting on that heart center, and the right hand representing the masculine, protecting, covering, holding the space, okay? Providing that space for that feminine creative energy, and just hold it over your heart and take a deep breath. Maybe work with that yogic breath that we brought in just to kind of anchor that in your body. So if you do work with the Gom Puttee Kriya, you can, just start to really root that in the physical for you, what that feels like. Take a nice deep breath in all the way down to that lower belly and let it rise, filling up with that life-giving prana. And then just like a wave receding, exhale and follow that prana all the way up and out, working only with nose breathing, okay? And again, inhale and take the breath all the way down to the lower belly. Let that lower belly expand, rise up that prana to the solar plexus. Let your ribs expand out toward the sides. And then again, just like a wave receding, let it wash down from the solar plexus to the lower belly and up and out. And one more time, inhale, carry that oxygen, that life-giving prana all the way down to the lower belly. Let the lower belly rise and expand, carry it up to that solar plexus, ribs expanding out to the side, up to Anahata, the heart chakra, and feel that expansion in the collarbone as it just opens and allows the shoulders to open more, and let it recede like a wave all the way down and out again. And just holding that space with your hands, letting the masculine hold that space for the feminine to be soft and vulnerable. Receive this blessing. I am a divine soul on a sacred journey. The wounds that are healing are where the light is most active within me. When pain gets my attention, it is the divine wisdom within asking me to notice and learn something helpful and compassionate. My scars are signs of wisdom gained. The light can and will assist me in transforming even the most difficult struggles into holy paths of grace. Healing shall manifest completely, generously, and lovingly, according to divine timing, for the spiritual benefit of all things. I am grateful, strong, and blessed. Carry this energy with you as you move throughout the day until we meet each other again. Rest where you can, reflect, and hold this question. Are there issues you believe you cannot heal? Can you hand them over to spirit with the belief they can and will be healed? Repeat the above statement if you feel it would help you anchor confidence and trust in your heart and mind, which is that prayer that we just moved through. So I'll tell you what I will do. I will take a picture of this blessing that I called in, and I will post it on the community board. So if you want to, swipe that and kind of hold it as a prayer that you hold in your heart and that you work with, even in working through this Puttee Kriya, over the 40 days, to just hold that energy in tandem, because the Puttee Kriya is for really bringing that. It's Ganesh's energy. You're bringing Ganesh forward, the remover of obstacles. He clears the pathway. He clears the pathway for creativity to come through. And he's also very much associated creative energy as well. Ganesh is the Lord of writing and of music and of dance. Okay, so his energy really fuses with that as well. So he's like a unifying point. He's a unifying point between that Shiva, that Shakti principle. And he removes the obstacles so the avenue can be clear and the creative force can come on through. So it would be a beautiful devotion, maybe even to start your day like that. You could even weave that into the Puttee Kriya before you start. Before you start, you could kind of take in this intention, take in this prayer, holding that space, right? Okay. So I'll put that up for you all. I'll put that up for you all. Make sure that you're grounding, replenishing yourself, hydrating yourself today. Okay. Super important. And that's what I have for all of you. Let me make a little note. Somebody can help remind me. I know that I'm supposed to put up links for Lilith and Eve walk into a bar. That came in. The photo of the blessing. There was something else I was supposed to provide a link to. Does anybody remember? Just the part of the lives with the trolls. Oh man, the amount of energy they put towards this is interesting to me. They've been a repeat. They've been a repeat person, but I don't like to. Let's hold the space, okay? This is a good exercise for us. We shouldn't revisit that energy. Remember, what have we been talking about in our process, right? What have we been talking about? We get to decide what kind of energy we take in. We get to decide what we enter into energetic agreement with. So when these experiences come up, we address them in the moment, right? We address them in the moment. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, Walt. Thank you. Thank you. That's what it was. The broadcast. Remember, it's the moment we need to let it go. So let's not give them any more airtime, okay? In the chat, that's important. Don't feed the trolls, all right? If you give it focus, if you give it attention, if we keep, then we're bringing that energy in. You see what I'm saying? So that's an important piece. Just when these moments come up, they'll happen. They happen online. The way you maintain the space, you deal with it, you move on. Okay. And such is life, anywhere where you're dealing with that kind of energy in your life. The broadcast. Embrace the cringe. That's the broadcast. Thank you, Wilder. I needed that. I'm like, the energy in lives, it can go so many different places, and especially with everybody in the space, we all bring in different pieces. So we go down lots of rabbit holes, but they always come back, right? To a central point. And that's what I kind of love about working with that live energy, that creative energy, and just going along with the current, because it may seem, right? Doesn't it sometimes seem like, whoa, we went off on a different track there, but it always comes back to the same central point. So embrace the cringe. All right, so I will get all these links up for you all. I will pin it in the comments. The gua sha, I'm not going to do that because the gua sha video it's already got a separate video, and it's under the Panchakarma playlist, the Own Your Fire playlist here on the homepage of BroadCoven. So just go under there, and it's on the playlist. It says Gua Sha Basics, I believe. It has a really bright cover on it, like yellows, very 80s looking almost kind of cover. So you can easily access it there. It's already super easily accessible. And I'll put up the photo on the community board, okay, of that blessing that came in. And I will get to that right as I sign off with all of you. Okay. Any other questions? Anything anybody needs to bring in before we sign off and go about our day? Good. I'll take a sip of coffee. I know it can take a second sometimes. I know it can take a second sometimes to write it out. Nope. Good. Okay. Thank you so much to all of you who showed up and stuck in it with me for the long haul. Thank you to all of you who make the replay. Appreciate you. You're very much a part of building this energy. I feel your energy too. I feel it when you bring it in the comments of the replay. I love you too. That's a beautiful message to leave this off with. So, oh, Ted just said, oh, yeah, Ted agrees. He's speaking that into existence. So I love you too. I love all of you, and have a beautiful day. And thank you so much for your presence, your energy, and for sharing the experience with me. I'll see you all tomorrow.